That's pretty good. Looks like I nailed it.
Mission control, the space pod has landed.
Hey YouTubies, Spacepod here. I bought some TechSpec tank pads, or what they're called, are tank grips for this bike. For this 2013 Triumph Daytona 675R, and I'll tell you why I like tank grips. I didn't used to use these things, but anytime you have sort of a long reach and you're all over the tank, like I am, it does help to have something that protects your tank from your jacket and all the rubbing you might do whilst reaching over the tank. The other great thing is, when you're using your core muscles or your legs to hold yourself up and keep the weight off your wrist, you don't want to be against the naked tank. It's actually very nice to be against the tank grips. And for narrow bikes or narrow tanks, it helps to have a little bit of width. That's offered by the very thick snakeskin tank protectors that I'm using. So I am using the thickest ones, and they are the snakeskin, as I mentioned. And they're fantastic. I'm going to probably put them on every bike now that I have, just because I just find them really useful. And it just, when you need that break, whether it's freeway riding, long haul cruising, etc., canyon riding, you can use your legs and support yourself, take that pressure off your wrist, give your wrist a break. And sometimes if your blood flow is cut off for any reason on your right hand or your left hand, prop yourself up with your knees and take that break, you know. Plus some people like them when they're hanging off. It just gives them good feel. TechSpec tank grips, Spacepod approved. Woo! Another thing I gotta say about the tank grips is that they look pretty good, actually. They look really good. Whoever designed these really did a good job to make them work with the lines of the bike. And I think the Ninja 300 actually looks better with them because of the black-white balance. And this bike, I liked it a little bit before as well, but they also look good with the tank grips. So anyway, check out the link in my description here. And that's an affiliate link from RevZilla. I make a little bit off sales, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. And here's a quick peek of the installation video. Hey YouTube, Spacepod here. I'm going to try to not move too much because I'm wearing the glasses this time. The pivot heads. This is the TechSpec tank grip set. TechSpec recommends that you use Windex to clean your tank, probably to get cut through all the wax and whatever. And of course you're going to want to use a microfiber towel. I've already wiped down the tank with Windex. Here's the bike without tank protectors or tank grips. And every time I ride, I'm rubbing this quite a bit because, you know, when you're short of arms, you're going to be leaning on that tank a lot more. So we've already cleaned this. We've let it dry. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this pretty soon here. Okay, so with this, the TechSpec logo is going to go toward the front. And by the way, this is the thickest pad they make. This is the snake skin. Okay. And this holds up really well. It's very durable. And this is what I actually have on my Ninja 300. So here's the Ninja 300 TechSpec right here. And yeah, you can see this. On the Triumph, there seems to be a natural line here. So what you want to do before you stick it is just test fit like this. I think this is a good way to do it. Just eyeball where it's going to go so you know where you're putting it, and peel it. Now TechSpec has one way of doing this, and I have my way just because, you know, I do stickers, I make stickers, so I'm kind of good at this. Basically you just want to eyeball it, and if you're going to do it this way, you can just hover over the surface before you stick it down, knowing that if you align one side, it's going to line on the other. The other thing you want to do is stick one side first before you press down and push toward the middle like this. Make sure you apply counter pressure. Okay, counter pressure so you don't knock over your bike. Duh. Now this needs 12 hours to set up, and that's for the adhesive to cure before you ride with it. And basically if you let it cure overnight, you should be okay. So there's one. It's actually not that difficult. Other side, I think one thing I find helpful here is to get low on the bike so you can really be close to the area where you're putting this TechSpec. Okay, once again, sort of eyeball it. This is pretty easy because it's such a natural fit into this shape. It's pretty hard to miss. And remember, hover first. This is my reference edge right here. Walk it up. Okay, because you don't want to have any bubbles in the middle. So anytime you're putting stickers on, you generally start from one side to the other, and that's pretty good. Looks like I nailed it. Make sure you push it into the depressions there. And you can reposition this if you need to. So I think I like the other positioning better. So what I'm going to do is actually reposition this so that it's lower. Good. So we have some symmetry here. That was a little too high up before, so that's one of the reasons you got to let the adhesive set, because you can reposition this until it's set. That's good. So I'm going to leave it like this. And this is the positioning I'm going to go with. So I'm looking at the negative space here between the two, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. If you're OCD, this may be a difficult task. On the tank, you can see how I went with the bottom up because you have most of your protection here. So I'm going to do the same thing on this bike. Wide part down. And this is easy to measure just by looking at the negative space between the seat and the two pads on either side. I know it's not intended to go that way, but that's the way I want to go. This part on top makes sense if you're laying on the tank a lot, which I won't be doing so much, but I'm more worried about this lower part. There we go. Okay, so there's the after shot, and I'm going to let that adhesive cure overnight. That looks pretty good. One thing I'm going to recommend to TechSpec is that you don't put your TechSpec name right here, because it gives people the opportunity to put it upside down without it looking silly. So I would recommend deleting this. So it looks pretty good. More importantly, when you grip with your knees, you're not going to be scuffing up your tank, which is important. There you go. That's the installation of the TechSpec snake skin tank grips and tank protector, just like the Ninja here. Alright, thanks everybody for watching. This has been SpacePod. SpacePod out.